explore the absolute essence of divine devotion. Specifically, we're looking at the great scholar Junaid Baghdadi's philosophy of love. So if you've ever wondered about that deep intersection of ego, serenity, and complete spiritual dedication, well, you are absolutely in the right place.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The entire foundation of today's explainer really rests on one massive, kind of mysterious question. What does it truly mean to love Allah? And, who can genuinely be called his lover? Now, this isn't just some abstract, philosophical hypothetical for us to ponder. This was the exact question that sparked a legendary historical conversation. And let me tell you, the answer we're going to examine is nothing short of transformative.
So, Section 1, the gathering in Mecca during the deeply sacred season of Hajj.
Picture this, centuries ago, right in the middle of Hajj, you've got these venerable, highly respected spiritual scholars all gathered together, and they're debating the incredibly complex nature of divine love. And right there among them is the youngest scholar present, Junaid Baghdadi. And while all the older, far more experienced scholars were throwing out all sorts of deep perspectives, Junaid, he just sat there in profound silence. He was just quietly listening, absorbing everything.
But of course the elders noticed this quiet demeanor. They knew he had this rare, profound depth to him, so they actually pressed him to share his thoughts. I want you to really feel the emotional weight of this moment. Picture him with his head bowed in complete humility. Tears are literally welling up in his eyes as a very reluctant Junaid finally prepares to break his silence.
Which brings us to Section 2, a definition of love, exploring Junaid's wisdom. He finally speaks and he says, "The true lover of Allah is one who entirely forgets his own self. He remains utterly absorbed in Allah's remembrance." Just let that sink in for a second. The complete forgetting of one's own self. He's talking about a level of devotion where the personal ego is just entirely erased, completely replaced by this total absorption in fulfilling every single requirement of faith. He then goes on to use this incredibly deep sensory language. He says, the remembrance of Allah acts like an intoxicating spiritual nectar. When he speaks, it is as though Almighty Allah speaks through his words. It's so powerful, right? He's describing a heart that is so purified, so completely humbled by awe, that it actually perceives the divine presence directly. This isn't just a daily practice. It's total, complete spiritual immersion.
And this brilliantly illustrates his core equation here. True peace, it isn't found in endlessly asserting your own personal will. Absolute obedience equals true serenity. It's all about reaching this high spiritual station where literally every waking moment aligns perfectly with a much higher purpose.
Moving on to Section 3, the 3 spiritual pillars, diving into the core philosophy. So, the crucial first point is fana, or selflessness. This basically means letting go of your ego and your personal desires so you can completely align yourself with the divine will. True divine devotion absolutely requires the total erasure of the selfish ego. I mean, think about it. You simply cannot be full of yourself if you truly want to be filled with the divine. Let's move to the next point and see how this builds. This baseline of selflessness creates our second pillar, dhikr, which is constant mindful remembrance. In this state, the mind is literally never empty of the beloved, and that influences absolutely everything you do. From the most mundane daily routines, like eating and sleeping, right up to the most profound words you speak. The whole shebang just becomes this constant mindful act of dedication. Now notice this really sharp dichotomy here. Baghdadi makes it explicitly clear, someone who is operating at this exceptionally high spiritual station, they no longer bind themselves to empty societal customs. They simply do not pay any heed to unkind criticism. Their focus is completely, 100% entirely directed upwards. Which leads us straight into the third and final pillar, resilience against judgment. I really want you to think about how this applies to you today. We live in this crazy, fast-paced world that is just utterly obsessed with opinions, likes, and judgments, right? Baghdadi teaches us that when you are truly anchored in a profound spiritual purpose, all those worldly expectations just lose their power to affect you. Your spiritual alignment becomes this impenetrable shield against all the anxiety of societal judgment. Which leaves us with this provocative final question to wrap things up. Are your actions guided by true spiritual purpose, or are they swayed by empty worldly expectations? It's honestly a profound mirror held up to us across the centuries. Take a quick moment today to really reflect on what truly drives your